Karibuni to the Now Report on TV47. It is yet another beautiful day and I am yet another Messi fan who's really excited. Jana walishinda, of course mwanaume alifunga, but I feel like we'll actually talk about that a bit later. Either ways, I hope you're having a great day, but acha sasa tuingie kwa... Let me get to update you guys. Now, forget about boring corporate handovers. At Nyabisase Secondary School in Kisii, a change in management apparently required a riot, arson, and grocery bags used as tactical gear. The drama ilianza after beloved Principal David Ogega retired following a legendary 40-year career when the Teachers Service Commission sent in a new replacement. The student body bypassed standard HR channels and chose absolute chaos. In a move straight out of a low-budget heist movie, students allegedly put paper bags over their heads to hide their identities and reportedly launched a coordinated stone-pelting assault on their own teachers. Now, outnumbered faculties fled for safety as the campus turned into a battleground. The rebellion peaked when a dormitory was torched in broad daylight, leaving one student hospitalized. With exams days away, officials shut down the school indefinitely, leaving police to investigate wild plot twist. Now, whether the teachers themselves actually incited the paper bag brigade. Now, did that actually happen? It's crazy. You know, I understand that you loved your former principal, but guys, that is up there. That is something else. Honestly, kusema ukweli, but I really feel bad for the school with what happened. I believe there are better ways to handle this situation, and whether or not the teachers were involved, we will just have to wait and see. Now, kama ulikuwa umejam jana, ukafikiria kuangalia kama registration details zako ziko na IEBC, najua uliona error message and you were not alone. That triggered instant fears of deleted voter rolls and what people allege is potential electoral rigging. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission quickly scrambled to clarify that the situation, releasing a public statement on X.com to explain that the sudden downtime was simply due to an intentional routine ICT overhaul designed to optimize system reliability and platform performance. While the sudden digital blackout left a bitter taste in the mouths of civil society watchdogs over its exceptionally poor timing and vague error pages, the online verification portal returned completely operational by the morning of July 8th. With zero data lost. The IEBC, the Commission further reassured the public that physical operations remained entirely unaffected throughout the technical upgrade, keeping manual voter checks and registration services running seamlessly across all Huduma centers, constituency offices, and of course the primary customer experience center located at Anniversary Towers in Nairobi. All the same, as of this broadcast, bado the error still persists. The way forward, ni hao tu watatuambia. Yeah. And I can imagine, you know, remember tukokadi, now you go check for your papers and you go check your documents and you find that it was kosawa. But as you can see, all you can do is wait and hope for the best, genuinely. Now, while tech hubs in the global north face intense environmental criticism over the skyrocketing energy cost of AI, countries in the global south are positioning themselves to completely power the future using sustainable data centers. Studies zinaonyesha that by the end of the decade, AI growth in the United States alone could generate up to 44 million metric tons of additional carbon emissions annually, while draining vital water resources. However, nations kama yetu Kenya, where over 93% of the national grid is generated from renewable sources like geothermal, wind, and hydro, they hold a massive competitive advantage. According to sector leaders, the region can skip the expensive fossil fueled historical mistakes by Western nations, deploying clean infrastructure faster and cheaper. At the same time, regional policy experts want to warn that to avoid a new wave of green digital extractivism, local actors must maintain complete economic sovereignty and ownership of these facilities rather than simply acting as hosting sites for foreign profits.
Yeah, when it comes to sustainable green data centers, I would say our facility here in Kenya is a prime example. We take ESG very seriously and the environmental impact. So first of all, in a country like Kenya, where 93% of our power generation is from renewable sources like wind, hydro, and geothermal, we are much better placed than other markets. Like if you look at Frankfurt or even South Africa, they use a lot of fossil fuel. So that's a big advantage for us. So in that sense, when we are processing the AI compute, we are not generating those kind of emissions that we see in the other developed markets. And then when it comes to other sustainability like water usage, so yes, cooling of the servers, which produce a lot of heat by water is a good and developing technology. But again, data centers like ours are putting in place like filtration systems, recycling systems, where we can recycle the water, for example. So we really try to minimize the wastage, and where we are a living example of an ideal green data center.
Now, for generations, the universal response to a broken AC or a flickering light bulb has been waiting around for an overpriced handyman who shows up 3 hours late. Lakini in China, a new wave of fiercely independent women has looked at their household toolbox and decided, I can do that. And honestly, probably better. All women repair groups like Mulan Build and 38 Fix are turning the traditional blue-collar boys club on its head. With marriage rates, of course, dropping and solo living on the rise, women are flocking to workshops to learn how to strip wires, assemble furniture, and drill through the brick. The demand is so wild that these classes have month-long backlogs. After all, if you live alone, fixing a junction box yourself is way easier than dealing with the awkwardness and safety worries of inviting a strange repairman into your apartment. Naturally, the traditional gatekeepers of the toolbox are sweating a little bit. Some local job platforms still explicitly ban female technicians from signing up, and the crews admit they still get the occasional skeptical look from clients when they show up to do a job. But these squads aren't waiting for permission. Between the Diandian Home Solution flexing plumbing skills to thousands of followers on social media, and the founder of Shiro dismantling appliances with a literally like a pink power drill, the message to the old guard is clear. The patriarchy might be stubborn, but a blown fuse is actually pretty easy to fix.
好，差不多缠个这个6到7圈。
因为你软线可以剪。
不手啊。过来，过来，我困死了。
Well, it is time to address the elephant in the room, or in this situation, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Any Messi. If you tuned out of the Argentina versus Egypt match around the 75th minute, thinking the Pharaohs had it in the bag, please, tafadhali, accept our deepest condolences. You missed the kind of absolute chaos that makes the World Cup beautiful. Now, Egypt walikuwa on a cruise with a commanding 2-0 lead in Atlanta, looking fully prepared to send the reigning champions packing. But then, Argentina wakakumbuka hao ni nani. They remembered they are Argentina. In a dizzying 15-minute blitz, Cristiano Romero ruled one, not Ronaldo kumbuka, Romero, pulled one back. Lionel Messi nae aka-equalized to keep his ridiculous 9-game World Cup scoring streak alive. Now kumbuke, he's also the one who assisted the first goal. And then Enzo Fernandez nodded home a stoppage time winner to seal a breathtaking 3-2 comeback. Now, naturally, a football script this dramatic couldn't finish without a massive side order of post-match salt. Egypt's coach Hossam Hassan, alongside frustrated stars Mohamed Salah and Mustafa Ziko, completely blasted the officiating, calling the match clearly manipulated by VAR and the referee. But while the Egyptian camp is convinced there was a conspiracy afoot, neutral fans want to point out a pretty obvious flaw in the theory. If the referees were secretly working for Argentina, they did a terrible job explaining the plan to Egypt during the first 70 minutes. All the same, fans still see Messi as the GOAT, the GOAT.
I think it's disappointing that Egypt lost, but they worked as hard as they could, and Argentina was very resilient and kept on attacking. I think our defense was very solid throughout, and we were trying to hold out until the last minute. So when they scored in 70 minutes, I knew it was going to be tough after that. But Egypt played a very strong game. The whole team did great, and on to next World Cup.
Very good match. I was surprised. I saw Egypt winning 2-0. I saw Messi get his penalty blocked. It was a very awesome game. Schobert, best player, the MVP of today, he blocked every single goal against Argentina. It was an amazing game. They gave it their all.
It just hit me that the only time you end up seeing the name Cristiano on the score sheet is when Romero is scoring the goal. Is any. Sorry to the Portugal fans, but anyway, new coil is in there. While elite athletes are battling it out on the pitch for the 2026 World Cup, millions of international football tourists are executing jaw-dropping, perfectly synchronized performances on the streets that have network scientists totally fascinated. According to research from Northeastern University, viral fun phenomena like the Dutch left-right jumping dance in Monterey, Scotland's cone-capped bagpipe matches in Boston, and Norway's newly minted the Viking row, which literally saw fans row invisible longships up a public escalator, are actually examples of collective behavior synchronization, mirroring schools of fish or flocks of birds. Complex system experts want to reveal that this planned spontaneity relies heavily on seasoned superfans reading the room and deploying catchy chants that previously went viral on TikTok, allowing thousands of strangers to instantly speak the same language of fandom. While researchers note that intense crowd energy can occasionally turn volatile if unexpected results trigger raw tempers, the overwhelming trend of this tournament has been remarkably peaceful, proving that fans are highly eager to maximize their brief moments in the global spotlight through ultimate group expression. Honestly, I've talked about Messi so much. I have to give credit to Haaland, man. That man is doing wonders. He's taking Norway far. I believe there. Yes, Team Yao Peko Fiji, but Haaland. Anyway, you've seen that. That's actually, I feel like that's a very intimidating. It's very intimidating in its own way. But to Tawana, I'll not speak of Mbappe right now. He's shining enough on his own. Now, Didier Maliki, a resilient Congolese refugee living in Uganda's Kiaka settlement, is leading a remarkably green revolution by turning discarded banana farm waste into durable, eco-friendly Kikapu shopping bags. After arriving in Uganda in 2021, Maliki was deeply troubled by the overwhelming amount of single-use polythene plastic choking local markets, prompting him to launch a social enterprise called Ubuchange, to revive the traditional East African culture of long-lasting woven baskets. The innovative venture buys discarded banana pseudostems directly from local farmers for 500 Ugandan shillings a piece, which are then cut, dried, softened with water, and meticulously hand-woven into premium bags that can last for well over 5 years. The project took on massive urgency following steep cuts to international humanitarian aid, successfully training and providing critical income for dozens of displaced women who can now confidently provide for their households while actively protecting the environment from plastic pollution.
In 2025, where the World Food Program cut off the support for women, in my community, we had the kind of mindset. For example, if you have a big size of number of family, that is how much money you earn, because World Food Program pay you according to the number of kids you have at home. And then you can see many women had big number of family, big size of family, 5, 7, but they didn't have any source of income. So we brought this the project here because we wanted women to start thinking about how can I become a provider, provide for myself and then provide for my family. And yes, at the beginning, it was kind of challenging because, you know, you come from where you were just sitting at home and then people are just giving you food, and now you try to shift from that mindset to another mindset of saying, okay, I can become a provider, I can learn something, and then use that skill to create a product.
Wow, bado nakaa nikifikiria vile online there are so many fans of Egypt and Ronaldo who keep on saying that the game between Argentina and Egypt was rigged. Guys, come on. Wanasemanga asiyekubali kushindwa si mshindani. You guys lost. You should know that by now. Anyway, guys, you have a lovely day. Take care. Jioni tuko na report again with Daddy Mato. Up next is TV47 at 1. Otherwise, take care and have a lovely day.